So I'll start with this question. When you hear the word vulnerable, what really comes to your mind? You can take some time to think about it, and while you're thinking about it, I'll make this brief announcement. So, if you've noticed, or maybe you haven't, I am currently in a new world. The old world, as with everything modded goes, I added some mods and tried to make them work, and then they didn't really work. And I tried taking them out, and it didn't end up well. The world got corrupted. I wasn't able to restore it despite trying, and so yeah, as much as I actually kind of missed that world because of the progress I made, but it's alright. I've learned some things, and I don't plan on adding any more mods. I think the mods I have now are good enough, unless I see one that I really think will be great to add, but yeah. So back to the question. When you hear the word vulnerable, what comes to mind? It can mean many different things for many different people. For me, especially when I hear the word vulnerable, the definition comes to mind of being open, being like an open book, being readable, not hiding any parts or any layers or anything, just being completely open and raw and honest, which goes with the main, main theme of being authentic. When I think about being vulnerable, especially in the context of social media, sometimes it feels like being vulnerable is dying, because social media, as much as it tries to connect us together and bring people from all over the world and wherever they are, almost feel as if they're in the same room, it also separates us a lot. And that's not to say that social media, all of it is bad. It really does make you feel like you are in the same place with the same person. But I'm not sure if you've noticed this, but maybe even give it a try if you haven't noticed it before. Walk into any public transportation of sorts, and while you're there, put your phone in your pocket, don't touch it, and just look around and see how many people are actually looking at each other and not at their phones. I've noticed this a lot, how we are all in the same room, but we hardly even talk to each other. And it's sad to see, because it also goes with the phrase, or when people ask, how are you doing? And you think about being vulnerable, most people just say, yeah, I'm good. And you ask how the other person is doing, and they reply with, they're good too. But is that really how we're feeling? Is that really what's going on? Or do we just say we're good because, it's the polite thing to say? You don't want to unload everything that's going on in your life. And obviously you shouldn't do that with strangers. Of course, there's some information that you should keep to yourself, and there's information that I should keep to myself. But when I ask people, how are you doing? I find that I even say that I'm good and fine. Usually that I'm good, and they reply with I'm good. And I decided to test it out, and I'd ask different people, not just because I didn't care, but just ask different people, how you doing, and actually listen to what they were saying, and it was almost always I'm good. So with thinking about being vulnerable, of course it's not an easy thing to do. Being vulnerable requires you to almost put aside everything, all your acting. If you're acting, maybe you're trying to form a persona, or with my own example and one of my most recent videos, I had to put off the image I was trying to craft of myself and the expectations I was trying to meet, so to speak, that I had set for myself as who I would look like to my audience or to whoever came across my channel. And that's one of the hard requirements of being vulnerable, because you have to put aside your pride. I had to put aside my pride. I had to put aside all all the things that I had worked for and just be open and raw without trying to hide any parts, without trying to patch it up or make it look presentable. And when you think about that, when I think about that, I think that's one of the reasons why it's easy to tuck it away. And it's easy for me to tuck away being vulnerable, because when you care, or for me, when I care so much about what people would think of me, and I've spent years, literally years, of trying to craft the perfect image or the exact kind of person that I want people to think of me as, it can be very hard to strip all of that away and just let it be and be exactly who I am, regardless of what people may think. So, with all of that being said, hopefully this can be a space where not just I as the creator, but people as well can be vulnerable and be open about what they're going through. I know how important it can be to just have a space like that where you can just be completely raw and completely honest. And it's not very easy creating that space, and it often takes a lot of work and energy, but I hope to create that kind of space, not just for myself, but for people as well, whoever is watching on the other side of the screen. So yeah, those are just some thoughts on being vulnerable. But as always, take care of yourself.